Alright, I think we should be live. I'm just gonna do a little quick check.
Okay.
Alright, it says I'm live. Everything's looking good. Alright, cool.
Wait, is this not? Why does that show up when I type at stream? Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
So I just typed at stream and like without thinking went to the first thing and that showed up for some reason.
Bruh.
Alright.
So that's why it's notified for videos.
Oh no. What did you do?
Don't worry about it.
That moment when
All
Kim's
right.
about to have a very bad time. Wow. The stream beginneth,
Oh boy.
and the boys are coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm playing on hard difficulty. Oh no.
Oh no.
Planet's here.
Planet is here. Wow. Oh god.
Wow, that's an island.
Idubia Island.
Sure is.
Yeah.
What the hell's happening?
You gotta defend the island.
Oh.
Surely, hopefully nothing regretful happens, because that decision I just made.
Killing them. Why would you do such a thing? Does this game have a battle pass?
No,
It's not made by EA.
it's not made by EA. Oh. Ayo, heap? Wow.
It still can't get over the fact that Sonic has done a crossover with Spawn before.
Dude, that hurt my soul. Also,
Wait,
oh,
with what? Sonic did a sponsor with Spawn?
A crossover with Spawn.
What is Spawn?
you don't know what Spawn is?
No.
It's a not a classic comic, but it's like it was like a height of like the '90s Edge comic that was really good.
Oh.
If you were gonna be angsty, you were gonna like Spawn.
It was like if like Spider-Man was like the young teenagers like I just started high school, I'm getting bullied comic of the '60s. Spawn was like the I just got into college and I'm gonna snort meth comic. The premise of Spawn is that the main guy, I think he's like a hitman. I don't know much about Spawn, but I think he's like a hitman who dies, but like he doesn't want to leave his wife behind, so he makes a deal with the devil to be like resurrected as long as he does the devil's bidding every now and then.
Okay.
But he's like still a zombie. It's like he just possesses his corpse as if he didn't die.
Right.
Like, but he's still like a rotted. It's kind of like a Deadpool situation where he's still like a rotted, fucking like horrific beast. And it's kind of about him like trying to escape his deal with the devil while also carrying out the missions he needs to.
While also being the devil.
Well, also basically becoming the devil eventually.
Yeah, that seems legit.
And he has powers, but they drain his like contract time, so he has less time to be zombie man. So he has to use guns and shit to like conserve energy.
See.
So he's very Punisher-like. He's
I'm not gonna lie, this is going pretty great right now.
and he
Wow. Alright, we have some options.
and he's met Sonic canonically.
Makes sense.
He's by. Do you know Invincible, the superhero series?
I've heard of it, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to.
That it's the same company that made that, the comic series that's based on. I don't think they're in the same continuity. I think it's just the same company. It was an Archie Sonic. So the one of the writers of the Archie Sonic, one of the writers of the Archie comics was like also worked on Image stuff. So I guess that was like the leverage to get the crossover to happen. It was more of an Image in general crossover.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
But he did meet Spawn in that comic.
Oh
Sadly,
no.
Sadly, he didn't meet Invincible because Invincible wasn't a thing until like 2003,
That would make pretty cool.
and this was still like the late 90s.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
Looking at the game, what was bad? Or...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sonic hit the gritty. I'm almost positive he hit
He
the
definitely did.
I'm sure he did.
This is the same writer who was like, Phil, where the fuck is the image? I want to see if I can find it.
Oh
What are
no.
you doing up there?
The
What are you
Knuckles
looking
family
for?
tree. Yep, here it is. So, this we might have to show this on stream because it's too hilarious not to.
Okay.
Let me put it in the mod chat. Ken Penders wrote the Knuckles spin-off comic, and he's the guy who worked with Image to get the crossover. And he made
That
this
is so
image.
What the hell am I looking at?
So here's the two images to kind of explain this. This is Knuckles' family tree. It was like an interactive thing where you had a list of names and you had to fill it out as comics revealed more lore. And then like later we got like a mostly filled out version of it.
Oh,
This dude did so much Knuckles lore.
Jesus.
The Knuckles comics and shit are so funny because like so much. Here's the. This is a fan made nickname for every character. Like it's an actual page, but they put descriptors over all of them. Which is Star Trek Knuckles, Science Knuckles, Eyebrow Knuckles, Horseshoe Knuckles, Super Knuckles Bro 2, Yoda Knuckles, Clockwork Orange Knuckles, Cat Eye Knuckles, Dominatrix Knuckles, Negative Knuckles, Chill Cyborg Knuckles, Douchebag Knuckles, Angry Cyborg Knuckles, Smokey the Echidna, Gay Knuckles, Girl Knuckles, Rasta Knuckles, Bearded Knuckles, Metal Plague Knuckles, Robot Knuckles, Super Knuckles Bro 1, College Professor Knuckles, Red Sonic. And Pender's shit makes me laugh
Bro,
so much.
I guess he really liked Knuckles.
Well, it's less that I think he stated that he didn't actually like Knuckles that much. It was just the one he had the free reign over, so it kind of became special to him by process.
Ah.
Like, since it was the thing he was writing, it became important to him.
Right.
So he actually indirectly created like a fan favorite Sonic character in like a really weird roundabout way.
What character?
So the character he made was just this one evil Sonic.
Oh, him. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so he's just edgy Sonic basically, and he's just like a
Yeah.
timeline where Sonic's just a douchebag. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
already is,
then one of the better writers came in and was like, hang on guys, I know how we can make this character actually cool. And they made it
Yeah,
the edgiest
Scourge.
fucker ever, and it's Scourge.
I love
So
Scourge.
there is a legal debate to this date of who owns Scourge the Hedgehog.
Of course.
Because Ken Penders made Evil Sonic, and Scourge is a transformation of Evil Sonic, but it was written completely differently.
This should be a different character.
It's kind of like how no one owns Venom, character-wise.
Really?
There is no one person who made Venom.
Huh.
There's like character designers, but like basically Venom was like the culmination of like 3 years of writing in comics that led to that character. So like no,
So he's not public domain.
he's not public domain. No, he's still owned by Marvel. But I mean, like, there's no like Joe Smith made Venom.
Right.
Like he's not like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko where they collaborate to make Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. They own the character. Then later on, went to Marvel.
Well, they Marvel owns them because they're part of Marvel Publishing, but still.
Yeah.
Point is, there is no like guy who made Venom.
Right.
Because they made the black suit was a contest submission for like a costume design thing for Spider-Man. It was supposed to be a stealth suit, but
Oh.
they liked it enough, even though they didn't have a purpose for it as a stealth suit, to like make it the new to shake up like to boost comic sales. They introduced it, but it appeared before the issue. The Spider-Man issue where it first appeared in appeared before the issue that explained where he got it from. So imagine you are a Spider-Man fan, and you're like, oh boy, issue 246 or whatever. Which one was it?
I now realize I should just borrow your stream key next time we plan on having me like do a random stream, because that way it's on your channel, and then you can just chat while I play some random game.
Yeah, do you want to?
This is true.
We could do that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the comic that this happens in is even titled "The Rumors Are True." That he's getting a redesign, but they never explain where the fuck he gets the costume from in the comic.
Ah,
He just has a black suit out of nowhere.
that's really
Uh,
funny.
And then, like, half a year later or something, I don't remember the exact time, but, like, way too long later, Secret Wars comes out, which is, like, one of the big Marvel crossover things. And it's like, oh, he was working with the Fantastic Four, and he met this alien, and that became his suit. And that's like, oh, okay. This took too long.
Yeah, that's.
But the,
Wish I knew this before.
and then like that becomes his suit design for like 2 years. And then there was a lot of fan backlash at the first because they didn't like the new suit.
I don't think it's suit.
The black suit looks great, especially with its
It was
shading.
Really cool.
Uh,
The shading was really nice.
but so they had to invent a reason why Peter would get rid of his cool new alien costume, because it makes no fucking sense for him to get rid of it in universe.
No.
Which is why, like, that's where the Venom corrupting him comes from thing. They had to invent that it was making him more angry and evil. But, like, if you're reading it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess it makes him evil
Did that
now.
for 2 years.
Basically, like, so in the comics, it's a very, like, subtle progression as they were, like, building up to it. Because it took a while, because they had stories they wanted to do with the alien suit.
My alien gave me mental issues. That's really funny.
My alien gave me rage bipolar disorder.
My alien gave me PTSD.
But the funny thing is, it took them so long to build up this big thing that he was getting rid of the black suit that new Spider-Man fans, because this was like year 6 total, I think. No, this had to be later because this is crossing the 90s and it starts in the late 60s. So this is a decent bit or this is late. I think this is 80s. Okay, this is like year 10 of Spider-Man. So like,
Right.
that's still like a fifth of his time as Spider-Man is now with this suit.
Good chunk.
So like a lot of people like their introduction to this character was the black suit, and that was like in toys and figures and like promotional shit. It wasn't just like in the comic.
Oh.
So those people were like, and a lot of people had warmed up to it by now.
That's some good money.
So now he doesn't have the black suit because Eddie Brock has it, Venom.
Right.
Which once again is kind of a culmination where like you can credit the guy who wrote it, but it was editorial and staff as a whole that made him.
Yeah. You have to credit. You would have to credit the entire staff.
Basically for Venom, because it was like a community response thing. It wasn't just like Bill Pipsy wrote this issue and that's where Big Wheel
Stan
appears.
Lee made
Yeah,
Or
made
or-
Doctor Octopus. And, yeah. So Black Cat, because she liked Black Suit Spider-Man more, makes him a cloth version of the symbiote suit that has no sci-fi magic power shit.
It's just a
Uh,
black suit.
But
It's
eventually,
just hotter Peter Parker for her.
You just got
basically.
the drip.
because remember, Black Cat's like what makes her interesting is she's like the reverse of all of the love interests for Peter. Because like
Right.
his first love interest is Betty Brant, who never gets adapted into anything because she's boring. And she doesn't last that long. She lasts only like 20 issues. Which means like for about a year she was the love interest, but like her entire character was basically thinking that Peter was cheating on her when it was, in actuality he was just being Spider-Man. It's funny, but like it gets real old when you're reading them.
Annoying after a few months.
It's like, but they do explain that Peter realizes like I could never be with her because eventually I'd have to reveal my identity, and she hates she doesn't hate Spider-Man. She hates the idea of him being Spider-Man. Like it's like a running nightmare for her. So she's like, nah, this other guy in
I'm good.
the Bugle is like really cool, and Ned Leeds. Don't be with him. He cares about you more than I do, honestly. And it's like that's where that plot line goes, and then he meets Mary Jane, but Gwen Stacy is the next love interest, and she dies. So
Yeah.
then it's Mary Jane because fun fact about Mary Jane, she was just kind of his friend for a lot of it, like occasionally flirting. And then Stanley's newspaper strip that he wrote with Spider-Man, which was a running thing, it was like 3 panels at a time, but it was a serial. Had Mary Jane marry Peter Parker. And so the main comic was like, holy shit, we have to catch up. We can't be outdone by the newspaper strip. So like in 4 issues, they go from like friends recovering from Gwen Stacy's death after like 2 years of her being dead to married.
That is. That
But,
sounds like a
yeah.
TV show kind of thing, you
But
know?
because the black suit like pushes stress on their like relationship, he ends up getting rid of the fabric suit forever and just being Spider-Man from then on out. Like just normal Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like Marvel lore way more.
oh my god, the comics are fascinating to read.
I like Marvel lore a lot more than FNAF lore. I won't lie.
They're equally convoluted, but for very different reasons.
But that's because Marvel's been around for so many years.
Yeah, Marvel
So-
has been around for a while, and every editor and writer wants a different thing to happen, pretty much.
But in the FNAF, it's just Scott going mentally insane. So, you know.
What other funny Marvel stories are there now? Because that's apparently what I'm doing.
JJ
I-
talks
I-
about just Marvel stuff. Tito quietly has a stressful
Wait.
aneurysm with the Nords in the background.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, the Clone Saga is fucking hilarious.
I think I think my favorite issue of Marvel was probably like it was the Joker Batman one, where Batman became the Joker.
That's a DC issue, but yeah.
No, that's DC. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
I get it mixed up. I'm sorry. I get it mixed up.
The difference between DC and Marvel is Marvel loves continuity. DC says, write your own thing, fucker.
Yeah, these two like it's a different universe. Who cares?
Like, Marvel has many universes, but, like, they have a main one that they're always writing about. And you have to, like, adhere to, like, the prior universe. Like,
Connect as well at some
yeah,
point.
like, the
It's all
biggest
connected.
alternate universe thing they ever did was the Ultimate Universe, which is where Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Captain America, and I think Ultimate Iron Man are from. Where it's like, basically, it is just a reboot. It's just like, hey, can we write the stories from scratch? And that's where Miles Morales comes from.
I like Miles a lot.
Miles is weird because, like, he basically was replacement Spider-Man for the Ultimate Universe. So he really just is like Peter Parker 2
Yeah.
in the comics. And then
Peter Parker, but better.
he's the same, actually. People, like, debate whether he was good in the comics or not. Because the comics, like I said, he really just is Peter 2.
Yeah.
But
And
younger.
Yeah, I haven't read much of the modern comics. I mainly
Uh,
read the movies and stuff.
but the funny thing is, what happened is they borrowed Miles's personality from the comics to build Tom Holland's Spider-Man mixed with Peter Parker's Spider-Man, which is why he has Ned Leeds, who is very different in the comics. But Ned is like his best friend, who's like the counterpart to Miles' best friend, which is why he's in the Tom Holland movies. Aunt May being younger is a reference to Miles' stuff. Like, they basically used Miles as a way to remix Peter for the MCU because they didn't want to just do the Tobey Maguire one. So the Spider-Verse team was like, fuck. Now Tom Holland's basically Miles Morales. So they had to rework Miles. Sorry, I need to quiet down my dogs. Dog distraction over.
Wow.
So they had to rework Miles for Spider-Verse, and that like fixed Miles's characters. They basically fixed Miles's character from that, and that's why Miles like became an interesting character. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, good. I thought my audio died. So, like, the best parts of Miles' character come from basically work pressure.
Ah.
Like, to make their character more distinct because they wrote an entire movie about him.
Huh. There are so many weird times where they kind of wanted to reboot Peter but couldn't.
Right.
The biggest one was the Clone Saga.
What happened there?
So it was like peak 90s Spider-Man. It's past the Venom kind of story arc era of Spider-Man.
Right.
But like it's way after Stan Lee has left, so they're running on fumes for creativity pretty much.
Yeah.
So they're like, what if we create a clone of Peter Parker who becomes the main character of Spider-Man from then out, and we let Peter Parker retire and marry with Mary Jane? That was like the impetus. Was like, what if we just pass the torch to another Spider-Man?
They made a clone.
So a villain makes, I think he makes a clone of Gwen Stacy first, and then that like just is destroyed. But then he makes a clone of Spider-Man to help defeat Spider-Man.
Right.
And at the end of that issue, Spider-Man throws the clone into a vat of acid, and like walks away. But it's like kind of like is he the real one? Who knows? Story.
Yes, obviously.
And then like a while later, like it takes a bit. That clone comes back and he's like, actually, I'm Ben Reilly. Ben as an Uncle Ben, and then Riley as Aunt May's maiden name. And he's like, I've just kind of been living on my own lately, but because Aunt May just died, he's like, I had to come see her. I couldn't.
He's a clone. Not mom.
Well, it's Aunt, but yeah.
Well, aunt.
But he still has all the memories of Peter.
Right.
So, like, from his point of view, it's still Aunt May. It's like, he can't deny it.
Yeah.
So he's like, I have to see her. I'm sorry, like, I was kind of hiding in the shadows. And he becomes the Scarlet Spider, which is like secondary Spider-Man working with Spider-Man. And then they meet Kane, who is the actual Spider-Man thrown into the vat of acid, who's like a disfigured, fucked up Peter.
Right. The actual Spider-Man. Yeah, throws an acid.
No, the actual Spider-Man is Peter Parker still.
Right.
So we have 3 Spider-Men running around now.
Oh,
We have the
God.
evil, distorted one. We have the good clone one, and then we have the bad clone that was thrown to the acid.
Right.
And Kane's weird because he has like weird physical properties to him. Because he's like all, because he was thrown to the acid. So he's like disfigured physically, and he has superior spider sense.
Oh.
But he can't like live a normal life, obviously, because he's fucked up.
Yeah.
He's also evil, so, or he was. Yeah, he was.
Hmm.
They basically end up killing off both Ben and Kane after a while. After they like set up this big thing that Ben was going to take over as Spider-Man, but like the editors got cold feet like last second and just decided, nope, Peter's still Spider-Man.
What do you mean by cold feet?
What?
What do you mean by cold feet?
Oh, it's just a phrase that means like they got nervous and scared of like the reaction people would have.
I mean, it would be a better thing.
If the number of Spider-Men was equal to your social security number, how many Spider-Men would there be? More than 0.
I don't know, isn't there an infinite amount of Spider-Man because multiverse stuff?
Yes.
So doesn't JJ have infinite social security numbers?
Actually, I just have infinite social security, period.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, yesterday the people in FNAF they were asking me like, "Hey, can you send me your social security? Can you send me your credit card number real quick?" Like, huh?
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
running
right.
bit on my channel, is that my channel's an entire con for chat to get my social security info to impersonate me.
Okay.
My entire viewer base is just a scam to get
You
my
should-
personal info.
You should give your stream key out to your channel, obviously, as a giveaway.
Oh yeah, that's just how that works. You just have my channel stream account.
Yeah, it's a giveaway. You get 24 hours. with channel-
What
channel.
if there was a channel where the stream key was public access?
That'd be really cool.
That's just public broadcasting.
Basically.
Yes, but better.
But on YouTube.
Exactly. So it's automatically better, obviously.
Oh, Captain Sparkles got a start, actually.
Huh?
He was there was like a community channel called Pros Don't Talk Shit. And he was like one of their people who played COD on it.
Oh,
And he had to make his own channel because he wanted to do his own shit.
right.
And then he did Minecraft on Captain Sparkles, which I don't remember where the name came from.
The only time I ever see that guy in relevance again is talking about a YouTube issue that randomly gets boosted by the algorithm. I think it's pretty funny.
He's only allowed to talk when it's not about Minecraft.
Exactly. Anytime he doesn't make Minecraft content, his channel's boosted. I think it's really funny.
But basically we'd be doing just modern Pros Don't Talk Shit.
Right.
Kane and Ben both die, but they come back. That's the other funny part.
Oh, cool. I love random death.
They die for like 10 years, and then like editorials were like,
Bring him back.
"What? What if we just brought them back? We can do more stories with them." And now like Ben is
No.
evil, but Kane's the good one. I think is the modern thing. So it's like the reversal of their original thing.
How did it be like?
They're like people like remember the Clone Saga fondly now, but it was like one of those like it was very confusing at the time.
Yeah, I would think so. If you're just coming out the region's favorite Spider-Man comics, even weird shit like this, like, huh? What's going on here?
Another thing that was kind of like that, where it's like it was kind of the reverse, where it made a lot of sense at the time, but it was really confusing for the editors and like in retrospect,
Right.
because which was Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin
Hobgoblin?
is I'll explain who he ended up being, but for context, he was no one for like 5 years.
Oh yeah, Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
No.
Hey Tito, if you give me Cyrus Squawks' social security number and credit card info, I can solve FNAF for him. Don't tell him though; it's a surprise.
If you give me Matt Pat's social security number, I can give you the entire FNAF timeline right now.
Yeah, I can give you
Yeah.
part 4 and correct it.
I can fix his timeline again
So
for like the 5th time.
Hobgoblin started as a spin-off villain in Spectacular Spider-Man, which was like we need to make more Spider-Man comics, but there's only one Spider-Man comic, so we'll just make other comics that are like
Makes sense.
kind of canon. So there's the Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and then Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man, or it was Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Point is, they just kept adding different adjectives to the beginning.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, I love it. Very creative.
And they were like questionably canon stories, like more or less canon. Like if you were reading them, you would.
If you squint, they're canon.
There was nothing glaringly wrong. It was just like okay.
Makes sense.
And what becomes kind of funny about this is so this one writer created Hobgoblin in one of those spin-off comics. And then Hobgoblin becomes a main comic when he becomes one of the main writers.
Oh.
So Hobgoblin was like this mysterious guy who had stumbled upon all of Green Goblin's old tech after Green Goblin 1.0 Norman Osborn dies.
Right.
So he now has access to the Green Goblin tech, but he doesn't want to take the Green Goblin serum because he doesn't want to go crazy.
Right.
So what he basically ends up doing is occasionally he fights as Hobgoblin himself, but more often than not he like forces and blackmails someone else to be Hobgoblin to test the serum and equipment.
Right. Give me that guinea pig, please.
And basically what happened is there
The goblin. All right.
there was a reveal they had planned for who he was going to be because his identity was a secret, just like
Right.
Green Goblin's was initially before they revealed Norman Osborn.
Right.
Because if you're reading those comics and you didn't know who Norman Osborn was, you would have no idea who's Green Goblin
Right.
until they really started seeding it out.
Lore.
Because Green Goblin appears way before Norman Osborn does.
Right.
So you literally couldn't have solved it back then.
Pretty cool.
Do you know that Spider-Man cartoon eventually reused several assets from another show called Rocket Robin Hood? No, and that sounds
What?
really funky.
Sounds very silly.
Which Spider-Man cartoon though? There's like 10 of those.
You should have
Yeah, there's quite a few of those.
They exist.
But yeah, so Hobgoblin's identity was a secret. It was supposed to be this like rich asshole named Richard Kingsley.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the original writer's intent, but he wasn't the writer anymore. So, it was like he had like 7 fake out reveals. And before they landed on, I seeded this early in the stream. I've actually been planning this all, you fools. So you remember Ned Leeds, the guy who married Betty Brant?
Yeah.
He was the Hobgoblin for like a year or 2.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
just the Hobgoblin, and they killed him off.
It's really funny.
Oh, the classic one, the 60s one? That sounds about right. That show was made on fucking, like, hit toothpaste budget.
Bro, that show was...
It's,
It existed.
it's fun. It is very funny to watch now.
But if you were a Spider-Man fan back then,
I think it would have.
liked it.
I think it would have done the fix, honestly. But
Yeah.
if you really want to see more Spider-Man stuff, it doesn't hurt.
No, it's just really silly.
What's weirdest about it is the fact that Peter does not sound like a kid.
I
Oh, they reuse cells of animation and voice acting. That totally sounds right. That show had so little money.
Yeah.
They would literally just trace a frame from the comic and just like slide it across the screen every now and then.
Are you serious? That is so.
The 60s were a very different time for legality and shit.
Literally that little stuff. So,
Like, in the intro, they reuse a couple panels from the Spider-Man comic,
I mean,
traced for the show's art
they have
style.
the rights to, don't they?
Yes, in the fact that they own the character correctly, but they don't have rights to
The art.
trace people, really.
Right. They don't have the rights to the art.
It probably was more legal back then, but I don't think you could have done it now.
Oh,
Without crediting
definitely
them.
not. No, definitely not.
He wasn't a kid in that show. I guess yeah, but like, I think when that show started, he was still a kid in the comic at the time, or he still was like high school, college age.
Nah,
But
I
he's
have no
like,
idea.
we've got to stop the Green Goblin on the 17th Street. Like,
Ah, yes, it's the goblin. Yes. Fucking Skeletor.
yes, Skeletor.
Yeah.
but yeah, so he does not inherently come across as, like the Spider-Man you read in the comic. But at the same time, when I'm reading like the old 60s issues, that is kind of the voice that goes to in my head.
Says that voice.
It's like, I gotta go around the corner and stop the Green Goblin. Yes.
Fucking really cartoony-ish voice.
Spider-Man went to Dementia 5. To Dementia 5. But eventually, like, after Hobgoblin was, like, Ned Leeds for, like, 2 to 5 years, I don't remember the exact time frame, they were like, oh, yeah, no, it was actually Richard Kingsley. He was just recovering his strength. He brainwashed Ned Leeds into thinking he was Hobgoblin.
Awesome.
I love shit like that, where it's like, yes, but it was actually this. Don't fucking worry about it.
It was this. So, Unicity is just fine. Don't worry about it.
Miles Morales gave us Space God a sandwich so we could live in a different universe.
Yeah.
There's not even like a story behind that one, that's just a thing that happens. And then there's One More Day, which is like the most infamous Spider-Man story of all time.
Why?
It's the one where Spider-Man sells his marriage with Mary Jane to revive Aunt May.
Go.
He makes a deal with the devil to get rid of his marriage to revive his aunt.
How'd that go?
It's the most hated. It's one of the most hated comics of all time.
Why?
Because he fucking made a deal with the devil to sell his marriage to Aunt, with Mary Jane to revive his dead aunt.
That's funny.
And also like it's like really weird and out of character and like it's
Yeah,
like one of those,
that's
if you're reading it in a vacuum, it's really well drawn and written. But like when you think about where the character's been and like the character development he's done, it's like, what?
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
It's one of those like it's the worse the more you are a fan of Spider-Man.
I mean, if you're reading it as a vacuum, I guess you would like it. But I think any other way, from what I'm hearing.
Because like it basically contradicts a lot of the lessons and morals of a Spider-Man story.
Right.
About like
I
don't
don't think Peter Parker would do a deal with the devil to bring his aunt back. Like. the
and
one
it's
I
still
know
canon,
is-
by the way.
That is canon.
He still doesn't have his marriage back
Oh,
in the modern Spider-Man comics.
He just can't have marriage.
Like he
marriage is
could in theory with someone
scam.
else, but like the modern writers and editors just don't want him to be with Mary Jane.
Why?
Because they like the soap opera kind of storytelling where it's like, well, will they? Will they get back together?
Yes, if you fucking let them. Oh.
Nay, Horseshoe Hancock.
Yes, he's obviously way too men for any women right now. Yes.
What's funny about it is it's basically the same premise as Spider-Man No Way Home, but actually written well.
Really? Fine.
Or No Way Home's actually written well.
I mean, yeah, you know what is written well. I don't know.
Because it's not like it gives no hope for Mary Jane and him getting back together. It just makes it like oh, they'll have to kind of thing. Whereas like in the comic, it's like, yeah, you're exchanging this entire possibility for your life in
Right.
exchange for reviving Amy.
Right.
Which was not a very popular thing.
No. Seems a bit silly.
Comics are fucking silly.
They're big goofy. Which can be a good and bad.
Big Wheel. Big Wheel is one of the funniest Spider-Man villains.
Big wheel?
Yeah.
He's a guy with like a circus wheel that he rides around, basically. That has like guns on it.
It's really funny.
There's also like he doesn't appear in the main Spider-Man comic, but there's a guy who's like just a living brick wall, like a flat brick wall who runs around and shit.
That's actually really funny.
So I don't think he's canon. I think it's one of those like because it was a crossover with a TV show they did, The Wall. I think that's all it's called.
Ah.
It was a crossover with a show that had Spider-Man as like a running character every now and then. And he was like one of their campy, silly villain stories. But they made a comic of that.
Right.
It's like just an adaptation of the episode, but like only the Spider-Man segment as like part of the license deal with the show. I think the show is called like the Electric Company or something, but I think Jesse Tippett is right. I think his catchphrase or like the other thing was, "You can't climb me, Spider-Man."
It's pretty funny.
Let me see if I can find an image of The Wall. Yes, there he is. He fights him in a baseball arena.
Ah.
Because he was like
Very
seeing a
cool.
Yankees game in costume, I guess. Or no, he was in a Mets game.
The Mets, Spider-Man.
Yeah, because he's canonically a big fan of the Mets.
He loves the Mets, baby.
Let me find Big Wheel. There he is. Hell yeah, Big Wheel.
Big wheel? Let me see.
Big Wheel.
Oh my god, that is so dumb.
That reminds me of the Penny Plunderer.
It's so stupid.
Oh wait, Kite Man. Kite Man!
Hi, man.
Yeah!
Hi, man, exactly what he sounds like. Oh my god, it is.
He's a Batman villain.
It's so stupid.
And he has like one of the edgiest arcs in modern comics.
Why? What is it?
They give him a backstory where like his catchphrase is Kite Man, hell yeah.
That's so edgy.
So his son, they're like pennies to what? Like they're like pinching pennies. They're like super poor. So like his son's favorite toy is a kite. And he has like this running thing about being super against swearing because it's like, oh, you go to hell if you say hell kind of logic.
Right.
And then I think he has like a mafia deal or like crime syndicate deal. And that gets his son killed. His like life of crime gets his son killed.
Right.
And then like his son's like one of his dying questions is like, "Am I actually going to hell, Dad?"
Oh.
So like he basically starts saying "hell yeah" off like as much as he can because of that to justify his weird fucking catchphrase from the '60s.
It is just so you can see his son when he dies or something.
Basically.
That's really
And he invented his personality around kites because of his son.
right.
And I think his power literally just is that he flies away, basically. Like he's just hard to catch.
Yeah.
He's in a slippery snail.
I have a silly character that like I really like writing characters that sound dumb as shit and become the most complicated, hard to track villains. Because I don't know what will ever come of it. It is canon to Neon Dynamo, but it's a separate comic I want to do called Rogue Muerte.
Oh boy, here we go.
But it is canon to Neon Dynamo. Like, I do mention events from it as if they're just like, yeah, that just kind of happened in Neon Dynamo.
Epic.
But there's a villain called the Fry Baron,
Okay.
who is like a fucking like teenager who works at a like he's a fry cook at like a fast food restaurant.
Gotcha.
And he gets caught up in a gang, but he has the power to secrete this kind of like extremely high temperature burny liquid that's very grease-like, which he compares to like he compares it to sticking your hand in the deep fryer. But it doesn't hurt him at all. So he gets caught up in a gang, and they try to pull off a heist, and he's the only one to get away because of his powers. And that gives him like a power trip where he's like, fuck, maybe I've got a skill for this kind of shit. So he invests all the money he stole into becoming a supervillain. And he becomes so good at using his powers he can coat entire roads in the slick.
In the slick.
And he can slide on it because it's fucking slippery grease oil.
Right.
So he basically just skates off of his own impossible to fall in liquid because it burns shit and is slick.
Right.
And they can't handcuff him because he slips out of it and shit. And he invested into the actually good costume, so he's not bulletproof, but very hard to kill with guns. So he is the dumbest fucking character, because he's the fucking Fry Baron. His power is that he shoots grease oil. But it's one of those, when you think about it, it's not an easy power to work around. What happens when this guy can cover an entire road and you can't follow him? Because your tires will slip and your feet will burn and melt when you try to follow him.
It's hot grease oil.
Yep. It's like it's the equivalent of sticking your hand in a deep fryer.
That's really funny.
But he's a fucking like
an oddly convenient power.
but he's like a shitty teenager. Like, it's the funniest part. He's just this guy who realized, huh, what can they do against me? And then I think because other ones are like Mortis, who is this guy who heals his wounds by touching people and taking basically their flesh to repair his.
Oh, that's cool.
So like he's basically like a fucking gore vampire, for lack of a better term. Like if he has a bullet hole in his hand, he touches you, and he like basically puts the bullet hole on you, and he gets it healed, for lack of a better term.
Right. That's
So whatever injuries he has, he can transfer to you and heal. And that sounds scary. That one makes sense. And then there's like, this guy can make smoke that makes you like cough and dizzy. That makes sense.
right.
And then there's 23 rats in a trench coat.
What is that?
They were originally 25 rats that were a lab experiment to see if they could transfer superpowers between specimens. So they transfer the super intelligence of one of their rats to 24 other rats. And now that they're super intelligent rats, they all stage a breakout and escape into the sewers. And start like taking computer parts and hacking shit to try and make a living to like live off of themselves as their best possible life. And then the main character, Rogue Muerte, finds kind of like one of their scams to like get money to do shit. And like not knowing what he's looking at, accidentally kills 2 of the rats. So they vow vengeance against all humanity and hatred as 23 rats in like a mech suit trench coat.
It's really funny.
They kill the president.
I like
They kill the president during his inauguration in the
that a lot. Oh
comic.
my god.
Or they will. It's like, once again, it's one thing I really want to do.
Right.
And I don't really feel bad talking about spoilers because like
There's not a lot of people in the.
there's not a lot of people in the chat in the stream, so
5
Yeah.
people.
yeah, those 5 people will know. In canon, in Neon Dynamo's universe, one of the presidents was killed by 23 rats in a trench coat.
God.
That's awesome.
23 rats flew to Washington D.C. to kill the president, then back to Portland, because that's their main home.
Right. Very
They are my favorite villain right now. Villains, I guess, because they're technically plural. I think I have Art of 23 Rats somewhere. Put it.
Oh no.
Yep. This was me experimenting with art style, so it looks kind of funky, but this is in mod chat. This is what 23 Rats looks like.
That.
They are literally 23 rats in a trench coat mech suit. And I counted. Those are that is 23 pairs of eyes. And they have like this kind of weird, like multiple personality kind of speech pattern where they're like, because it is 23 entities different speaking, taking turns on like the voice synthesizer. And whenever they say their name, they like freak out and are like, "We will take over the land. We will defeat you all. We are 23 rats!" Like they freak out and get excited whenever they say that name.
Pretty funny.
They're the silliest ones.
Hinwas. Oh man.
Yep. Ah.
23 rats went beast mode, you can't take them down.
When I was managing 23 rats in the trench coat, I was matching a bunch of rats and like, you know those like movie like trench coat hoodies that people hide drugs in? It'd be like that, but like it's a mech suit.
I mean, that's basically what their design is.
Yeah, it looks stupid.
It's as dumb as it sounds, and it has to be.
Yeah,
Because it's
23
23 rats in a
23
trench
in a
coat. What else would they like? And their like whole thing is just that they want to get rid of humanity. Like, not nuclear war, not eliminate all life.
Just human.
Just humanity.
Fair enough. Can't blame them.
And they're so like a lot of their schemes are shit like we'll create nuclear war.
Right.
Just wipe them all out, get everyone to fight each other so they kill each other out.
Makes sense.
They're archers? Oh no, I made a terrible decision here today.
Oh.
Just
What
play
do you
better.
do this morning? True.
Just yeah.
Technically, a Rogue Merchant character's already appeared in Neon Dynamo. In Chapter 7, Rust mentions he's fought a supervillain, and we see an image of him, and it's a character named Triangle Man from Rogue Merte. Who's another one of the hokier ones, but he's like, he became less dumb as I worked on him. You should have made the number of rats equal to your social security number. This is the stupidest meme on my channel.
Well, that didn't go. Ooh, wait. Yeah.
Other than the time chat got hung up on whether Elizabeth Afton's hair color was ginger or blonde.
Who
This is the
cares?
dumbest thing.
Who cares, man? It's like
No one actually does.
It's like the whole mango gender thing. Who cares?
Oh man.
Three. We need to upload a Neon Dynamo page today.
Yeah, you do. Lots of Neon Dynamo lore today. Very cool.
Very
This is by far the dumbest name for a chapter.
What is it?
The chapter 4 is the slimy anticlimax. The name of the chapter is the slimy anticlimax. And it is as silly as it sounds.
Very silly.
Ba-doop-ba-doop. We need to find a voice for Alex. That's like the one thing I'm missing for the hypothetical Neon Dynamo dub I wanted to do.
Would you double yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of need to so I have consistency.
You want to dub every character yourself?
No, not every character.
Okay.
But like, I want to dub a lot of characters because if I do the voice, for enough of the cast, it means I always know I have access to the voice.
Right.
Whereas the more different people I have doing voices, the more people I have to get together to do a dub.
Right.
So, which is why I know I have to play Rust, because he has by far the most dialogue in the series.
Main
'Cause
character, right?
I mean, yeah, he's the main character, and he talks a lot. Yeah, so I kind of have to voice him, and he's also the character I have the most figured out for voice, because he sounds a bit like this. God damn it. So yeah, he just kind of talks like this. It's basically just my voice a slightly higher, but like raspier register. Early, when I wanted to do his voice, it was like that, but even more cartoonish. So he was like, "All right, guys, let's go beat him up."
God.
And then because he was originally supposed to be around like 15 to 16, but I eventually settled on him being 17 at the start of the comic.
Right.
It's weird. When I first made the character, he was intended to be older than me, then he was younger than me, then he's now younger than me again.
Yep.
Or no, he was the same age. He was like younger than me, then he was the same age as me, then he was older than me, as was my plan, and then he became younger than me eventually.
Jesus.
Rust's age fluctuated a lot because this is like a character and series I've been like toying with since like 2018.
Right. So a good while.
Yeah. The original series premise was real different. Rust's like whole green and red lightning thing was just plain yellow. And it was like it was supposed to be a spin-off for another comic. But I realized I had it figured out more than the comic it was a spin-off for. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do this one. Like, this is the comic I know the events of. And it was supposed to be, like, the explanation for... Like, it was a really weird bit I was going for. Like, the original joke was I was going to try to get people really attached to this group of characters over the course of like 20 chapters. And then, bam, this villain from a completely separate comic is going to appear and be the main villain. And that was like the bit. It was like you had no idea they were connected until they were. And it was supposed to be the story of like, what did that villain from Plate Chronicles end up doing after he was defeated? And that was it. That is not the plot anymore. Not by a long shot. Like, that character does sort of happen in this series. Sort of? Like, that loose idea happened.
Ah, shit.
In that, like, the bare minimum gist of that character kind of spiritually lives on, but it is not even close. That character was like a space god, time-breaking, like, reality-altering deity. Like, reduced to a low level of power, and that was, like, the bit.
No, Lord.
And...
Yeah,
that
what's up? Tepig's asking for an answer. What do we need an answer to?
I need to go back to your channel.
I have a feeling it's gonna be a particular question.
Not subscribed.
Wait, what did you just say, JJ?
What?
What did you just say?
I said, am I not subscribed to Tito?
Check out the Tito.
No, I am. What the fuck? Why am I not on? Why is he not on my list?
Not cool enough to be on the list.
What's the list?
My subscription list. Okay, found it. What was that? Tito, we need an answer. He's the main thinker. He talks a lot. Yeah. True hairs or the ones we made along the way. What do we need an answer for?
You just need it.
An answer. Answer.
Have you ever considered that the answers were the ones we made along the way?
True. Maybe the dynamos were the neons we made along the way.
Oh, that one burned up? Damn it.
Holy shit, there are boats in this game?
Holy
Damn.
Wow. There's a lot of boats.
I just love this idea of like, we haven't paid attention at all. Just now realize, holy shit, murder?
Murder.
Wow, there's a lot of guys dying. That's like kinda rude.
It's a bit silly.
A bit unkind.
What will you do then?
Oh, I guess no more that group. Okay, bye-bye.
No.
Oh, I want that. Oh, that's gonna be a pain to get that right there. Oh, big sad.
You know, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I can't lie. I've been playing this game on hard mode. There's not gonna be an explanation for you because I've just been singing like, oh.
Oh.
Basically, you are fleeing from bad people who are trying to murder you. You get little groups of men, you have to position and move them around to stay alive, very obviously. But also, like, pain. And death, perhaps, maybe a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Fuck. Yeah. I've just been enjoying this game recently. I played it like forever ago when it released on Epic Games, and then it finally came out on Steam, and I was like, hey, let's go.
Is this technically a roguelike?
Not kind of. I guess technically yes, but it's more RTS than it is roguelike.
This game is like Dark Souls. I mean, in the fact that it's a video game, yeah.
Good enough for me.
There's this thing in chat, people are like, what if we used the Neon Dynamo to produce Oreos as like a joke? In general chat.
That's a thing you could do, though.
It is canon, you can do that. Is this technically a Roblox game? I don't think so.
No.
But yes, the Dynamo technically can produce infinite Oreos. That is a canon ability of it.
Pretty epic.
It can produce any food, period, as long as it has like the shit to like the knowledge to make it.
You gotta find out the KFC recipe.
Yes.
Side
But-
There's the kernel.
But he has to get back to Earth. That's like part of the premise is that he can't get, is that Russ can't get back to Earth. Because the Dynamo's AI doesn't want him to go back until it's repaired. So he has an incentive to repair it. Because if Russ doesn't have a reason to repair it, why would it let him go back? Which was like, there is, Oreos are kind of obsolete when our economy only supports cheese. That is a lie. Cheese is not supported by the government. That is a self-made trust fund. The cheese is governed by the market. It is not
Yes.
governed by the government. Neither is it supported in the slightest. Uh, Jeez. Well, you made a bank on your own government time, moderator planet. You invested your own money into. It's kind of like crypto. It's not like an official government thing. It's just something that people have created and exists.
Wow, I saved one of the buildings. Oh no. I'm not gonna have any money from this place. Let's go. Big sad. Oh no.
Yep.
Everyone's gonna be here. Wow.
Ah. Ah.
Oh fuck. Oops. That could have been real bad.
Can I say, apparently the rule of thumb for video games movies in the 2020s to be good is they have to have an awful first trailer that makes you wonder, like, okay, most things look fine, but what the fuck is X thing, particularly pertaining to the main character? And then it turns out way better than you think. That is just the formula.
What if I just started viciously spinning the camera the whole entire time I was playing?
I mean, no one can stop you. Like, think about it. Like, Detective Pikachu, everyone, when it was announced, was like, really? We're adapting Detective Pikachu into a movie? And then it was announced that Ryan Reynolds would be Pikachu, and everyone was like, the fuck? Is this a joke?
Are we
then it happened.
shop liver to you?
And then after that, I was like, that was decent. That was pretty good. And then Sonic was announced, and it had one of the worst character designs ever. And then I guess Paramount was cyberbullied into fixing his design. And then it turned out pretty good. And now the Mario movie, I mean, Chris Pratt's voice hasn't won anyone over, but like the rest of the movie has for a lot of people.
Fuck.
It's just the rule.
There's a lot of boys about to be coming through.
See, come to think of it, like the late 2010s and the early 2020s have been like the not decade, but the era of good video games. Because like we've had the Castlevania adaptation, we've had Last of Us, we've had the Sonic movie, we've had Detective Pikachu. What else came out? I feel like I'm missing. I guess we also had the stupid Monster Hunter movie, but that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Or I don't think it was.
It wasn't. It was not a good movie.
That sounds about right.
Ah. Yep.
God, this round has been Oh boy.
Fun fact. This is a very stupid thing. For the first, like for all of February, every video I was uploading was breaking records on my like statistics because I've had 6 years of shitty video numbers,
Yeah.
which was what was hilarious. Like passing 100 views was like a milestone for like the average on my channel. And thus, once every video is like 10,000% view increase.
That's pretty great.
And now it's finally selecting an average where it's like, no, this is genuinely how much your channel does. I also didn't realize until like I was actually seeing channels around my size more. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. But yeah, it exists. It's fine. I remember when Chris Pratt played Mime Jr. in Pokemon Go. That would genuinely be fucking hilarious because Mr. Mime doesn't talk. So the idea that he would play a baby Mr. Mime that also doesn't talk is hilarious.
No speaking for you.
It just makes like adult man sounds and that's it. That's all we get. But yeah, I was just looking at the analytics to see how the video I uploaded this morning was doing. And it's like 9,000 views for the first, how many hours? 6 hours? And it's like, hey, that's on the upper average. 6,000 to 10,000 is your average. Statistic numbers. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. But like a month ago, like that would have been like, your average is 200 to 400. This did 6,000.
The moment when you realize those are archers. Oh no.
Just out arch them.
My archers are
Make them
hiding.
flatters. Yeah, Johnny didn't exist. Liu Kang didn't exist. I don't know much about Mortal Kombat, so I know the loose gist of the cast and kind of their dynamics, but not much. I know a tiny bit more about Street Fighter. I like playing Street Fighter, but I don't know much more about them.
Me when Guilty Gear War lore drops. God, I can't speak English. But Guilty Gear lore just exists to cause brain damage. It's kind of funny.
I've actually been playing a lot of Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 lately, because they announced Budokai Tenkaichi 4 after like 12 years of no Budokai Tenkaichi games. It's just like a beloved game series, that's all you need to know. It was like, I would say the second big Dragon Ball 3D fighting game series. Because you have, like, Budokai is like the first real big one. Which I think just means a world? I think it just means, I think the title literally just means like Dragon Ball World 3 would be like the Budokai games. And that's like early PS2, I think, and then like late PS2 and like early Wii, you have the Budokai Tenkaichi games. Which
think
is like a
somebody
world
just
tournament.
died.
Well, that's their fault.
Oh damn, it's my bomber too.
But I've been playing it on my Steam Deck because the Steam Deck is such a powerhouse of emulation.
I survived with just a small ass. Oh, in that building, I guess that's partially on fire. Okay, cool. This game does not mess around on hard. Oh, I lost. Wait, did I? No, I just didn't get the checkpoint. Alright, so, yeah, I beat. Oh, God.
Sub-Zero, the first one, just works for Shang Tsung. Sub-Zero was always a bad guy, but he was hired to kill Shang in the first game. Eventually, MK just kind of lumped all villains together. Okay. Is there like a good character in Mortal Kombat? Because like for the longest time, I thought Sub-Zero was a good guy, and then I realized he wasn't.
Johnny Cage, I would say, and the dude with the spinny hat are both kind of the good guys, honestly.
Raiden?
Other spinny hat. Raiden's electricity god.
Yeah, but I thought, is he not a good guy?
Like, he is, but he's not, like, the main good guy, because there's the dude who has, like, the saw blade hat. He's more of the main guy, I think. Or he's one of the main guys. I'm trying to think of a certain character. He's the second good guy, yes. No, there's the character who does like the flaming wheel kick shit. And he's like supposed to be like the good boy.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang, yeah.
I'm just going off of Tepig's comment on that, so I'm
Thank you,
assuming it's
Pepe.
true.
Very Liu Kang of you. What is... I'm not paying attention. This is not great.
Oh, Liu Kang was Bruce Lee style. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, like I said, I honestly didn't know Sub-Zero was a bad guy for, like, a lot of it. I assumed it was like I assumed the idea was we had good ninja, bad ninja, was like the gist.
Good ninja, bad ninja, go.
Yes. Have you seen the trailer for the new TMNT?
Yeah, I'm so excited. And like the voice
Gumball
actors.
is Leonardo.
Gumball is Leonardo. Yeah.
It's funny how that gets me more hyped than like any of like the celebrity casting, like The Rock being, I think Bebop, or is he Rocksteady? It'd be very funny if they made him Rocksteady. If you, okay, Scorpion's kind of an anti-hero. Okay, that sounds about right. Like I said, I assumed there was like, I assumed since they were so iconic, they would like one was the main villain and one was the main good guy, and then there were like the overarching real villain. Cause it's like how Ridley's never the main villain of Metroid for the most part, but he's like Samus's main antagonist, if that makes sense. Like, he's not the main monster, but he is like, he is the rival villain to Samus, and he's like the recurring thing. I thought it was like that, where it's like, never mind. That was like, I misunderstood so much of Mortal Kombat for so long.
Alright, so with Guilty Gear Strive, right? You got Chip, I forget his like other name or his like the second part of his name, but it's like Chip something, right? And he's an American drug addict who basically decides to recover from being a drug addict by becoming a ninja, and then after he becomes a ninja, becomes a leader of a small African country. Also, Japan literally doesn't fucking exist. It's a hole in the earth.
That sounds about right. First Sub-Zero killed Scorpion, and then Scorpion came back and out from hell from revenge. That also sounds about right.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not doing
I'm gonna be
too
honest.
hot.
The only character I really know in like a fighting game where I'm like, I know this character's lore is Dan from Street Fighter.
Fucking Dan. I hate that I knew you were gonna say Dan. I was like, he's gonna say Dan, and it was Dan.
I mean, he's like the character I'm actually good with. Well, I'm good with him in Alpha 2. The other Street Fighter games I'm that kind of mix on.
Dan, a mystical, magical creature, if you will. I can have that church down there.
He's funny, but I actually do like playing Dan.
Yeah.
Because he's a slightly more interesting Ryu and Ken. Because, like, you have to play with different strengths and weaknesses than either Ryu or Ken. Or Sakura, or Brain Akuma.
Yeah.
He's like a very interesting remix of them because his attacks are all worse, but they're just different enough where you're like, huh.
The power of some dudes with some sharp, pointy sticks will never be outmatched. Look at them go.
That is literally all of Warfare history.
Yeah. Oh no! The dudes with the sharp, pointy sticks are being outraged. The only thing that stops my men with sharp, pointy sticks is guys with pointy sticks that can be shot from a distance.
Why the fuck did you ever make a weapon that isn't an arrow or a spear? Which, admittedly, arrows are just spears, but smaller and shot from far.
Man, I sure hope those, like, two archers don't fuck up my plans. I'm gonna stab
Having
you.
some jasmine tea. Wait, this is decaf. What the fuck? Get out of here. Where the hell's my jasmine tea? There's my jasmine tea. Well, it's my jasmine green tea. It's the same difference. After killing Sub-Zero, after the first tournament, Scorpio meets Sub-Zero again in the second tournament.
Oh, yeah,
After seeing Sub-Zero spare an opponent, Scorpion realized that they weren't the same Sub-Zero. The new one was the younger brother, Kylon. Like, okay, so first Sub-Zero is bad. Is second Sub-Zero bad?
come on, Spear Boys.
I gotta say, the two new videos I'm working on,
Yeah?
one of them is more like a talk about Molten MCI, which is a big. Okay, second one is good.
I can't believe I survived that.
That's good because Sub-Zero is like one of the only characters I know and kind of like, and I always thought of him as like a good guy. So it's like, oh, okay, there. I wasn't completely unfounded. I probably just only knew about the second Sub-Zero. yeah, I think that's all there is to it. I think I just didn't know that there was a difference between the first one and the second one. Anyway, I made 2 thumbnails for the 2 next videos I'm working on, and I'm really proud of how the second one turned out. Like, I almost put my usual text over it, but I just decided not to because I thought it looked better. I put them in the community tab, actually, but those aren't the full versions.
Wow, those archers.
I like how the theme of my text in my videos, like thumbnails, is like red and blue, the chromatic aberration look. But it's not actual chromatic aberration in the text. Because it's just not how it looks. So it just kind of became an aesthetic thing. Yeah, I put it in mod chat. The 2 thumbnails from the next 2 videos. Second is good. First Sub-Zero Baihan came as Noob Saibot. Some of the Mortal Kombat names are interesting. When I first found Noob Saibot, I thought it was Smoke, and then I looked up Smoke and realized I'm like, okay, no, they just look very similar. Was it Saibot? Saibot? I don't know how you... I don't know. That's an interesting character for Scorpion. Tito, what's going on in the game? Describe to me in simplest terms.
My spearmen are being slaughtered. Everything is getting slaughtered right now. I'm very spooked. Please send help.
Okay, I didn't understand. Put this in Beyblade terms.
They're spinning harder than I am. Help.
Okay, can you put this in FNAF terms just for... I think I get the gist, I just need a little bit of clarification.
Just a little bit of clarification. Alright,
Yeah.
well, you see, I'm about to get jump scared by a really funny looking bear. Also Mangled is, or Zangle is here now, and also, like, all of the horrors are here. I am now a crying child, and I just suffered the bite of 87.
Okay, thanks. I get it, but I'm not sure the fan base will get it, so can we get some Neon Dynamo explanation for it?
Basically, the Red Giant won at the very beginning instead of us winning that fight. And we all got crushed by the Red Giant.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hope that clarifies things.
For people who will only understand in the terms of Mortal Kombat, basically, what is it? The Bug Lady Gamora and the Soul Stealer one. Gamora wins. Bad ending. God damn.
Moke is Kai Lang's friend who was forced to become a robot by their clan. Ah, yes! Natural progression. I love when... This is primarily like a Japanese thing. Or I guess technically, is Mortal Kombat Japanese? Actually, is it? Fuck,
What?
I'm unsure. Never mind. I know it's a trope. I mean, it's still a trope in Japan, either way. Where they kind of just do whatever fuck time period they want. Where it's like, okay, yeah, we have ninjas and like samurai, but also cyborgs.
But also cyborgs. Oh man. Spare pretty neat stream. On a side note, you had 133 viewers the other day on your stream.
We got to 190.
Yeah, that was insane.
Oh yeah.
I'm just seeing
Okay,
your
one is
stream
Japanese, one is Chinese. Okay.
to 3 people. It's very funny.
And it's just me watching a MatPat video.
Yeah, it was just you watching a MatPat video, talking over it, while Tito's sitting here, like, playing games on hard difficulties, just like, content, and you're sitting here like, someone else's content. uh, I'm just sitting here, I'm thinking about the next big stream we're planning.
Yep.
Yep.
The super silly surprise stream.
Too. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be so dumb. What game? Actually, never mind. How long have I been streaming for?
30 billion years.
Wow.
Let me refresh so I can check. 97 minutes, so about an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
Someday I will build up the tolerance required.
Uh-huh. The tolerance
Uh,
required for what? Streaming for long periods of time?
What? Sorry, what did I even say? My brain totally is blanked out.
Someday I will build up the tolerance for, and then you stop talking.
Okay, someday I'll build up the tolerance to like do like the 8-hour, 12-hour streams.
What's the longest stream you've ever done?
Like 6 hours.
Yeah, I used to do exclusively like 4 to 6 hour streams, and the longest I've streamed for is like 9 hours, I think. But that was on Twitch. I could probably do like a 24-hour stream though, easily if I really wanted to. It's just I don't have a viewer base right now, and I'm trying to steal
Just
yours,
pirate
but
mine.
pirate yours, but also yours doesn't care about what I do. I'm not a FNAF YouTuber, and they have no interest in my existence, except for like a select few lads.
I think if you just start streaming on my account, no one will care.
I'm going to make a jam video of me just making jam and forcing you to post
Just
it
title it Tito's Kitchen.
in Tito's kitchen. Tito makes really nice jam for y'all.
It will confuse the shit out of the algorithm.
Because they'll think you're like a cooking child now. They'll be like, what the heck?
Yeah, if you want to check the mod chat, you can see the 2 thumbnails I made.
Yeah. What am I looking at? What is this?
What is what?
Knuckles family tree?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff for me to catch up on. I have not seen any of this.
You haven't seen The Wall or Big Wheel?
Well, I know of Big Wheel on the Wall, but I haven't seen him today because I've been playing the silly game.
What about Kite Man?
Kite Man is always in my mind.
Or 20 Cigarettes in a Trench Coat, which I use this from RTM, so of course you know it.
Yeah.
And then there's Gregory, and then the other things.
I'm not in my stream for today.
That's fair.
It's been a good one.
There are 3 realms of Mortal Kombat: Earth Realm, Outer